Okay, I saw this stuff on Amazon and wanted to fix the clear coat on my car without actually having to spray clear coat and blend it. So let's go ahead and try this Malco Rejuvenator. I'm using a 7-inch polisher. This is a Warrior from Harbor Freight. It was like 40 bucks. I'm also using a 5-inch drill attachment and a wool pad. I also went ahead and clay barred the spot where I was going to be doing this on. Now, for this truck specifically, we're going to save this towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Now, this is the spot on my little car. It's not really big, so we're going to test this out. The clear coat is pretty dry and it hasn't started to flake off as of yet. So first thing we're going to do is clean the car and prep the surface. Basically, for this surface, all I'm doing after I wash the vehicle is just using a clay bar and some quick detailing spray. This is just going to help remove any of the dirt and debris in the surface of the vehicle before we go ahead and polish it, because we don't want to polish anything into the actual paint. Go ahead and wipe it off, let it dry off for a second, and then you can go ahead and break out your polisher. Now, I actually probably put too much on to begin with, so just take that into account. You probably don't really need this much, but I went a little crazy on it. Go ahead and dab your polisher. I'm using a wool pad because I felt that this was going to help alleviate a lot of the dullness quicker than a foam pad would, but I do try a foam pad later on in this video. So basically just working this back and forth. I stop, I clean it off, I check it out every once in a while, but basically it took me around probably 20 minutes to get a nice good polish on this, and this is after cleaning the vehicle, clay barring that little spot, and then getting the polisher and setting everything up. So after about 5 or 10 minutes, this is what the spot looked like. Towards the bottom where the panels meet, you can kind of see where it still looks a little wonky. So I try to fix that with the drill attachment. So this drill attachment, you can buy these on Amazon. I think they're like 20 or 30 bucks for the kit. It basically comes with a head and a bunch of different pads, including a wool pad and a bunch of foam pads. I basically just attach this to the Milwaukee, and I try to get into that little area where the two body panels meet, so the rear bumper and the side of the car, and I basically just kind of work it back and forth. Because the car was silver, it was a little hard to see like straight on, so I kind of had to sometimes do it from an angle too. So like I mentioned, in total, this took me roughly about 20 or so minutes to polish this out into this nice shine. It looks a lot better than it did, and honestly, for I would say about 30 bucks, if you don't already have a polisher or a drill attachment, obviously you'll spend a little bit more, but if you already have those things, and for $25, if you have a small area like that, I think that this stuff works very well. You could probably also use this to buff the car and then wax over it, so I think that would probably be something that you should consider. Anyways, so moving on to the black pickup truck from the beginning of this video. Now, I tried this on a small area on the hood because the hood kind of looks the worst. I wasn't going to do this on the roof because the roof is basically rusted and needs to be repainted. This is just a parts truck, and this is why I'm trying this stuff out on here. So I'm just going to tape off a small section of the hood, clean it, wash it, and use whatever little bit of clay barness I have left. Now, starting off, I will say this much. I did a little bit smaller of an amount, tried to just kind of rub it in, and then I went to town. But honestly, because the clear coat on this hood is so dry and has basically been kind of flaking off for, I would assume, probably the last 5 to 10 years, there really wasn't too much of the clear coat left, and I really feel that this stuff is going to work best if there is still some clear coat left on the vehicle. If your hood has basically faded through the clear coat, I really don't think that this is going to do much. Especially for me, honestly, probably what I should have done is moved the truck into like shade, because the truck is black and the sun was heating up the surface. So I think it made the compound dry a lot quicker than it should have. But also at the same time too, like I mentioned, the clear coat on this hood had probably been failing for somewhere between, I would say, 5 to 10 years. This is a 2004 Nissan Titan, so give or take that. And honestly, I went to town on this hood for the better part of an hour, just trying to get that hood to produce any sort of a shine wherever I could get it to shine up. And by the end of this, after a good 45 minutes or so, I decided to switch to a foam polishing pad, which actually seemed to help with this hood specifically. And I think it was mostly just because that foam pad was stiffer and it kind of started to melt the clear coat back into like a consistent layer rather than it being dried and cracked. So here's a little after video of me going to town on this truck. As you can see from the beginning of this video, that it actually did somewhat of an okay job trying to bring back any of the clear coat and glossiness. Like I mentioned, basically where it had been faded through and there was no clear coat left, it pretty much didn't really do anything besides just make the paint look like chalky. Maybe if you tried to use like some 1500 to 2000 and maybe tried to smooth this out, it may work somewhat, but in all honesty, I really feel that this stuff needs clear coat or some existing clear coat for this stuff to actually work. If you guys like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, also give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.